It's time now to tackle the headline. Now, there's so much talk about the mid-season draft, boys, but I'm interested in mid-season trading. We've been promised that it is coming. Now, I've got a list of players here who have played plenty of footy over 2023, 24, but might have fallen out of favour this season, only played a few games. I'm interested to get your thoughts on who should maybe look elsewhere if we were to have a mid-season trade period, Ralphie, and where they could potentially go. Throw me some names.
So here's the thing with the mid-season trade period. You start small, and if it totally combusts, then you just say, OK, we won't do it next year. Start it small, from big things, little things grow. Sam Frost, one for me. Former Melbourne player, played outstanding football at Hawthorn last year. He can't get a look in because of Barras and Battle and James Sicily and all those players there as well, Jack Scrimshaw. So if I'm Essendon, I'm saying he's exactly what we need. You know, we could still win a final this year. Yes, we're rebuilding. Yes, we're developing all those things, long-term plans. But we've got a couple of very early picks and some good mid-range picks. What about pick 50? Now, Hawthorn might think, OK, it might just be a sweetener that gets us something in the Harley Reid trade, etc., steak knives. I just think Sam Frost right now is a very, very good footballer. He has stopped the Sam Frost-style brain explosions, and he's just a great stopper, and he should be playing AFL football this year. Played, when I look back at his stats, so he's played 42 games, Corbin, over 23, 24, and only twice this season. I mean, he's almost the prototype for this sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. They might even ask for more if they're thinking he's good insurance to have there in case...
He's no Alex Rance.
In case one of them Alex Rance goes down, maybe better than pick 50. It's funny, Simon, isn't it? It's almost like fantasy footy is your list manager. I'll throw another one at you. Malcolm Roses from Carlton.
Yep.
So remember Malcolm Roses once upon a time was linked to Essendon, decided to re-sign and ultimately stay where he is. We keep talking about the Blues and how they need zippy small forwards. He's someone who's on the outer up at the Gold Coast. He'd be perfect for what Carlton need right now.
Yeah. He will be playing AFL football next year. I don't think it will be with Gold Coast. So I love what you're saying. Get him into a side right now that can build him and desperately needs some wins through small forwards.
Yeah. What do you make of Jai Sarong at the moment?
I like him a lot. So he was good enough with a bit of an injury crisis last year at Hawthorn to play in that Port Adelaide final, you know, the famous final. And he held his own. So he's 22. He's the brother of Caleb. He's a really exciting young, I think, key tall. Maybe he's only a third tall. But again, at Essendon, late pick.
Yep.
Yes, you might like him to play some games in the next six or 8 weeks when a couple of key defenders are out, but it's a long or medium-term game. You bring him in and all of a sudden you try and let him shine at a club like Hawthorn, who, again, might get a late pick when they might be forced to delist him if it is that he doesn't get games at the end of the season.
Now, Lockie Sholl,
yes.
Corbin, not to cut you off there, but he's played 36 the 2 previous seasons. He's managed 5 games this year, so he's probably one of the higher ones in this sort of category. But what could you see for him?
I promise Carlton fans this isn't all catered towards you. But I just think another thing that Carlton could use right now is someone that could run off the half-back flank that's quick but uses it pretty well, and he could sort of fulfil that role. I know he's played as a defensive winger in the past. The other one is Fremantle. So the thing that will haunt Fremantle fans is they had an early pick, I think it was pick 10 in the draft, and they decided to go with the local prospect rather than Nasiah Wanganeen-Millerer, who went the very next pick. Imagine this Fremantle team if they had someone like that off the back flank. So I think someone like Lockie Sholl might fit a need there if you wanted a distributor off the back flank. Maybe another club could get more out of him than what Adelaide are at the moment.
Yeah, and it allows Adam Sard potentially to play midfield and get a bit of punish in their game, as David King would say.
Now, what about Blight, Ralphie? And I'm not talking about Malcolm. This, of course, is the next generation, young Jacob down at Punt Road.
So here's the thing. He's a long way back in the pecking order. He played 5 early season games. He was outstanding in the Essendon VFL game. He had 7 intercept marks. He had 26 possessions. Now, Richmond fans would say, are you kidding? But if you really like a player and you think by the end of the season he might have started to play some really quality football, I'm sure Richmond won't let him go, but they have so many of those key tools there, back and forward in the ruck as well. So, again, it won't happen this year and it wouldn't happen in a mid-season trade period, but it's the kind of player you'd be looking at and saying, he's a little bit down on the depth chart. We might have to give a second-round pick, but we think he could play 150 games for us. That's the kind of player I'd be going at really hard, not to fill instant needs, but someone who could play a lot of football for your club if we did have a mid-season trade period.
Now, you're a commentator, Corbin. Connor Buderick, I reckon, rolls beautifully off the tongue on a Sunday afternoon. What about him?
He's a nice player. He's a back pocket, sort of small defender who's had rotten luck with injury. He was one of the best things coming out of their academy, then did his ACL, did it twice, missed a whole lot of footy and now ultimately finds himself out of this Suns team. Given how the high-quality small forwards there are in the competition, there's got to be teams out there that are on the hunt for small defenders. So, again, he's another one, and this is probably what we're looking at here in this bracket, are the guys that are on the fringes, whether they would be better purpose somewhere else and be able to play AFL footy every week. What about the other end of the chain? So just to
So we've got small defenders, small fry. You want the big dogs, don't you?
Here we go. I'm just looking at someone like Clayton Oliver, for example, who obviously dominated conversation. Clayton Oliver around trade period last year. Imagine if there was a mid-season trade right now and the D's had the option to go, things have come good, he's got a bit of currency, perhaps more than he's had in recent times. Would you be tempted if you're Melbourne to go, maybe now's the time to shop him?
Nah, I know he's been talked about over the last 2 trade periods, no less, and his name thrown around. I'm hold on this.
Okay.
I think they've worked so hard. They've put in so many hours on and off the field to get him back to this point. He's finally feeling comfortable, Ralphie, and things are seeming to be going in a positive direction. I'm holding.
If someone wanted to offer the 1.7, which he's on, I think by 2030, I'd be saying, no, where do I sign? And then, yeah, we could criticise them for shopping him every year, every half year. That's exhausting. Yeah, I like it.
No, it's
Good by you.
Yeah, I'm probably with you for whatever it's worth. I feel like he's still, you would still be selling him for too much unders than what he's valued.
But wouldn't it be an
what his
absolutely
contract is.
fascinating discussion?
It would be,
Oh,
and it would guarantee it would come up. We would talk about it. There's no doubt about that.
It would. I know Andrew Dillon's got a lot of fish to fry at the moment. I know he watches Tackle the Headline. So give us mid-season trading, Andrew. You haven't got enough on your plate at the moment. That's it from us for another week. We'll see you next time.